That was definitely a divine appointment, and he absolutely said, "We'll take it." And they actually sent us $5,000 as an advance, and they went over the next 8 years and sold 40,000 copies. And then it went out of print, came back to us. So a third edition came out and it's still out. It's
Mhm.
already, so in this almost 40 years, it has sold 250,000 copies with 1 million in print because we gave I forget which organization it was, but we gave them the right to just print and give away. So I think it was the VFW. That's who we gave that to. So there's 1 million out there. And so,
That's incredible.
no.
That's incredible from your husband. And I wrote a book last year, and so I will tell you that it's a very daunting idea. I can only imagine what your husband went through, as it was probably therapeutic for him writing the book,
Mhm.
And my dad was also a Vietnam veteran, and so I have definitely a respect and a kinship to that. And then as a veteran myself from a different generation, but definitely understanding a lot of the challenges and and PTSD is this complicated conversation that there's really not a one size fits all box to put somebody in.
Right.
Truthfully, and I teach high school now, a JROTC unit, and I was just teaching my students about trauma and the difference about trauma between like feeling bad because you didn't get an A, right? Like there's a difference, and
That's not
grief.
trauma.
Exactly, right? But people can be traumatic or dramatic in 2025, 2026. And I want them to understand that grieving post trauma is not the same thing as like having a pity party and like got to get back on the horse and ride. But if you go through something that you were not prepared for, it may be traumatic for you and you might need to process that. And it's not always going to be bombs blowing up and IEDs exploding or what. And like you said, for the spouses back home, even to this day, when the service members return back from a deployment, people are not the same. People are
Right.
going to be changed, and there's going to be complications, and it may be traumatic because it might cause, again, things that people might want to dismiss as not that big of a deal that may come back to haunt them later. And thinking back on the time period that you all first published this book, it was probably you were ahead of the curve, right? You were ahead of the
Right.
curve on this conversation. And then, of course, we had no idea where we were going to go as a society with technology and the war on terror in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all these things that then would come down range, and we would have tools like your husband's book, your book, to help us better have this conversation and to help people feel more at peace with what they were dealing with, because there's a lot of baggage that comes with accepting you've got challenges now, right?
Yep.
All good things, all good things. And an amazing story. And side quest, right? Side quest, because I'm interested. How'd you meet your husband?
We were, believe it or not, this was in my days in Hollywood, California, where I was in Scientology, the cult of Scientology, and we met in the cult.
Okay.
So,
So he was trying something out, right? And
right.